Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yet another vlog of your CMA mentor. In today's recording, I'm basically going to help you out with the preparation strategy of paper 15, that is direct tax and international taxation. This is basically a CMA exclusive CMA final preparation strategy. I would never suggest you for CMA finals to go with the recordings of CA, because there is a bit difference between the paper pattern and the important chapters, that is category A and category B of CMA finals and CA finals. So basically, if you go with my preparation strategy, and you are going to short score a good marks. And I would never say this is a easygoing and scoring subject until you have a good concept and grip with this subject. Okay, what I have done here is that the chapter names that are given in the module is a bit difficult to understand for students, so I have bifurcated those chapters into small subsets, and I'll let you know how to go with it and go with the chapter preparations and the series to be followed. So you are basically aware that direct tax consists of two sections, that is A and B. Section A consists of direct tax portion and section B is international taxation. And section A almost is of 60% weightage and section B is 40% weightage. Okay, you're very well aware of these things. So now, starting with the preparation strategy, what I would suggest you to go with is first start with international taxation part, because that is a much scoring part and 40% coverage is there for this part. So international taxation consists of basically 2 to 3 chapters. First is DTAA, then is NR taxation, that is then third is transfer pricing, and fourth is GAR. So there's a short question from DTAA and transfer pricing, that is practical parts of these chapter. There's a short questions in the CMA final. So what I would suggest is go with DTAA first. It is a very easy going chapters. Go with go with a random YouTube video of any teacher, and then solve the institute math questions, and sideways go with even past year questions, RTP and MTPs, so that this chapter is end to end completed from your end. Then what I would suggest you to go with is transfer pricing. Though at first read this chapter will be a quite difficult and you'll not understand this chapter in first go, this and but gradually when you understand the concept, that is practical part of this chapter, then it will be an easygoing chapter for you. Okay, so what I would suggest for this chapter is go with a random YouTube video, then go with the institute math questions, go with past year RTP, MTP and mock test papers of this chapter, and it is done. Then what I would suggest for GAR is just give a 10 to 15 minute read of this chapter, because I don't think so it is much important chapter for exams. Then what I would suggest you is go with NR taxation chapter. It consists of 4 to 5 points, basic things which you have to know is that what is residential status basically, and 2 to 3 topics are also more topics are there in this chapter. Go with it and complete it in almost 1.5 day. Okay, then the second chapter which I would suggest you to go with is advanced ruling and equalization levy. Though these chapters equalization levy basically MCQ will come in exam, most probably it is not a very much important chapter from practical point, from basically the set point of view, that comes like subsets point of view. And advanced ruling is a chapter which consists of 4 to 5 sections, that is section 245N to 245 V, So this is a easygoing chapter. You can understand this chapter in a one read, and it will be like not a very much difficult chapter for you to go with. Okay. Then what I would suggest you next is that international taxation part is done. Now go with DT part. The first chapter you must go with is basics of DT, because if you don't understand this chapter, you will never understand the entire DT subject. So firstly go with basics of direct tax chapter. Then what I would suggest you is go with capital gains. Capital gains also, and business restructuring. You will never understand a business restructuring chapter if you are not aware of what is in capital gain chapter. So go with capital gain first. In that chapter even you must go with sum sale, which is the most important question and the most expected question. Every alternate terms this question comes, that is section 50. Then go with conversion one topics, that is how to convert a firm to company, what are the conditions, private company to LLP, proprietorship business to company, what are the process basically for conversion, and what is the limits basically you need to learn. Okay. Then business structuring and reorganization is a theoretical chapter. It is a easygoing chapter. You can go with it. Just go to a random video, okay, on YouTube. Then what I would suggest you with to go with is math and AMT. This is also an important chapter from exam point of view. Maybe an independent question from either math or AMT may come in your exams. So it is not an easy chapter, but if you go through the concept and you understand the concept of this chapter and go through learn the provisions, then it is a easygoing chapter in the second read. Then what I would suggest is go with charitable trust. This is also maybe a MCQ based question, or a case study or a practical question may come from this chapter. And till now institute has given a less weightage on this chapter in CMA, though in CA there is a short question from this chapter, but for CMA institute has given a there has come a lesser questions from this chapter. What I think for future coming attempts is that institute will give a question from this chapter short. So go through this chapter, and once you for the first read maybe you won't understand everything from this chapter, but with the second read it is a easygoing chapter. For chapter 6a, what I would suggest you is for DTAA chapter, this chapter is important. There are few sections which I will make a list of, and I'll post on my telegram channel. Go through those sections of chapter 6a very much, it is very much important, because if you don't know the provisions of those sections of DTAA of chapter 6a, then your DTAA questions may also get wrong. So those sections learn by heart, and for the remaining one just give a read of those sections. Okay. Then what I would suggest you to go with is TDS chapter. For TDS, payment to non-residents, there are 5 to 6 sections of TDS which are for non-residents, which are very much important. An independent question may also arise from this sections, so learn it by heart, the provisions of those sections. Also the remaining part of TDS, there are few important sections which I'll help you out with it. I'll give a PDF. I'll post a PDF for TDS and chapter 6a important sections list. Do go through those list only, okay, and that will be enough for exams. I would not suggest you to go next with PGVP. I suggest you to complete the small chapters like advanced tax and interest, which may come in your exams. Sometimes institute gives an independent question on this chapter, that is regarding advanced tax and interest. Independent question is there from this chapter as well in CMA. Then I would suggest you to go with tax management. There is a independent case study type question from this chapter as well. Nowadays I have seen the question pattern, so this is a important chapter from exam point of view. Then give a random read for both of these chapters, that is ICDS and black money. Okay, and after that what I would suggest you is go with assessment procedure. Though it is a very much important chapter from exam point of view for CMA, because an independent question always comes from this chapter. Like the institute might give you to write the due date of the returns, or they may frame a case study regarding scrutiny or any other sections of this chapter, and it is a very important chapter from exam point of view, but it is a pure theoretical question. So give it this chapter time, at least 2 days you give this chapter time to learn all the sections. There are grievance redressal chapter, there is a penalty chapter, also there is a dispute resolution panel chapter. The questions may come from any of these chapters. Return filing, these are all the chapters which are included in assessment procedures. So do give a thorough read and learn this chapter very thoroughly. It is an important chapter from exam point of view. Okay, then at the end what I would suggest you is go with PGBP. But what I would suggest you with PGBP is that, yeah, there is a short one question from this chapter in your examination, and most probably the first question is this chapter question only. Basically it is all the 5 heads income question comes, a big question of 14 marks. So it is an important chapter. What I would suggest you is give it a multiple read, this chapter, because you will not grasp this chapter in one go. So go for this chapter for multiple reads. Now summarizing, first go with international taxation chapters. Okay, that is DTAA, transfer pricing, NR taxation, equalization levy, and advanced ruling. Okay, then the second one is go with just a minute, then go with MAT and AMT. Okay, then you can follow this pattern, like go with capital gain there next, capital gain chapter, and the second one was business restructuring. Both of them you go together, both of these chapter. Okay, then what I would suggest is go with theoretical small chapters which are left, which I have already described above. Okay, then go with the assessment chapter, assessment and return filing. Okay, then at the end what I would suggest you is go with PGBP. Okay, if you follow this process and you solve past year questions, MTP, RTPs, and what in CMA I would suggest you is don't leave past year questions, MTP, RTP, because institute repeats questions on a regular basis. So please go through those MTP, RTPs, past year questions, and even institute math questions. Don't leave any questions getting unsolved. Okay, and if you follow this process, you'll get an exam good marks for this subject, and even you may score exemption if you have a good grip on this subject. And what I would suggest for finals is that understand and go with the provisions for this subject, because in future also when you are in a corporate you may get a help for this from this subject. So please don't mug up this chapter, understand and then go with this chapter. Okay, so ending, hopefully you like this video. Do give it like, subscribe and share with your friends, and let me know which chapter or which strategy do you want next. I'll sure help you out with it. Thank you.